The old woman sat on the porch swing, its rhythmic creaking harmonizing with the cricket's evening song. Her gaze, however, was far from the peaceful landscape before her. It was lost in the labyrinth of memories, each turn leading her deeper into the shadows of the past. Her wrinkled hands, like ancient maps, bore witness to a lifetime of experiences, a silent testament to the joys and heartaches she had navigated. But tonight her thoughts were heavy, burdened by the weight of a recent loss. It had been 2 months since Daniel, her son, had passed away. 2 months of grappling with an emptiness that threatened to swallow her whole. He had been her anchor, her reason for living, and now that he was gone, taken too soon by an illness as merciless as it was swift, she felt adrift in a sea of sorrow. The vibrant colors of life had dulled, muted by the gray fog of grief. She remembered Daniel, his laughter echoing through the halls of her memory, his smile a beacon that chased away the shadows. He had been her everything, her confidant, her joy, her pride, and now she was left with nothing but memories and the haunting silence that screamed his absence. She missed his hugs, his words of comfort, the way he made her feel cherished. She missed him waking her up on Sundays with the smell of pancakes and the sound of his little feet pattering in the kitchen. Her eyes welled up, threatening to spill the dam she had built so carefully over the past months. It was hard to let go of the pain, to let go of the anger at a world that had been so cruel. Why had it taken Daniel, her precious boy, when he had so much more to give? Why had it plunged her into this abyss of sorrow, leaving her gasping for air in a world devoid of his presence? As the night deepened, so did her despair, the darkness outside mirroring the turmoil within. It was a suffocating blanket that sapped her strength, making it harder to breathe, to think, to feel anything except the gaping hole in her heart. The silence was deafening, amplifying every sob, every whispered prayer. The moon, a silent observer, cast its pale light on her tear-streaked face, reflecting the turmoil that raged within. In the depths of her despair, she cried out to God, her voice cracking with the strain of holding back the pain for far too long. It was a raw, primal scream that tore through the quiet night, carrying with it the burden of her grief. This was not a prayer spoken with the expectation of an immediate reply. It was a conversation between a soul in agony and its maker, devoid of any pretense, no polite requests or carefully worded petitions. It was just her and her pain laid bare before a God who understood the language of sorrow. As the minutes ticked by, each one an eternity in her state of mind, she poured out her heart. She spoke of her love for her son, the joy he brought into her life, and the inexplicable unfairness of it all. There were no answers, only the echo of her anguish returned to her. But in that very echo there was a strange sort of solace. She wasn't alone in her suffering. God too knew pain, loss. He too had wept. And as she continued to speak, her sobs gradually subsided, replaced by a quiet sadness that felt lighter somehow, less burdensome. She didn't expect God to take away her pain, to magically erase the memory of her son. All she wanted, all she needed, was to be heard, to have someone or something understand the depth of her sorrow. As the first rays of dawn began to peek over the horizon, she fell silent. The storm within her had calmed to a gentle breeze, leaving behind a sky cleared of clouds, the soft light of dawn touching her tear-stained face. She looked up at the heavens, a new resolve dawning on her features. She didn't know what the future held, but she was ready to face it, to honor Daniel's memory by living her life to the fullest. With newfound determination, she stood up from the swing, her joints protesting after hours of stillness. Each movement was a conscious effort, each step a victory over the inertia of grief. She walked slowly, her gaze fixed on the rising sun, its golden glow mirroring the hope that flickered within her. As she turned to go inside, she noticed a small patch of weeds poking through the concrete by the front steps. It was a stubborn reminder of life's tenacity, a testament to nature's relentless will to grow, to persevere. She crouched down, her fingers brushing against the rough leaves, a faint smile gracing her lips. Daniel would have loved this, she thought. He always found joy in the simplest things, a ladybug on a leaf, a dandelion in bloom. Standing up, she decided to tackle the weeds. She pulled, not with the strength of her muscles, but with the strength of her spirit, a spirit that had been tested in the fires of adversity and had emerged stronger, more resilient. With each weed she pulled, she felt a sense of liberation, a shedding of the burdens that had weighed her down. The sun climbed higher in the sky, its warmth enveloping her as she worked. It was a silent understanding between her and the universe, a promise to keep moving forward, to keep growing even in the face of life's harsh realities. By the time she finished, her hands were rough, her clothes rumpled, her hair escaping its confines. But there was a newfound light in her eyes, a radiance that came from within. The weeds were gone, replaced by a sense of calm and clarity. She had started her day in darkness, but now she was embracing the light, both in the sky and in her heart. Later that day, as she sat at the kitchen table sipping a cup of tea, she opened her Bible, its warm pages a source of comfort and wisdom. She knew the words by heart, yet she read them again, seeking solace in their timeless message. Her gaze fell on these words: "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." Proverbs 3:5. Her lips moved silently, tasting the familiarity of the words, feeling their truth resonate deep within her. In that moment, she realized that her journey of healing had begun. It wouldn't be easy. There would be days when the grief threatened to overwhelm her, when the pain of loss clawed at her heartstrings. But she was ready. She had faced the darkness and emerged with a stronger faith, a deeper understanding of life's fragility and its preciousness. She closed her eyes, picturing Daniel with a smile, his eyes sparkling with mischief, his laughter echoing in her ears. His memory was a source of strength now, a guiding light on her path. She wasn't just surviving, she was living, honoring his memory by cherishing every moment, by finding joy in the smallest things, by reaching out to others who were hurting. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, the pain dulled but didn't disappear. It became a part of her, a reminder of the love that had once filled her home, the laughter that had resonated through her walls. It was a part of her story now, a story that was far from over. One evening, sitting on the same porch swing, she saw a shooting star streak across the night sky. She didn't make a wish. She knew her wishes were already granted. Every sunrise, every sunset, every breath she took was a gift. Every kind word, every helping hand, every moment of joy was a blessing. She looked up at a vast expanse of the night sky, a million stars twinkling back at her, each one a distant sun with its own story, its own light. And in that moment, she understood. Faith wasn't about seeing, it was about believing. It wasn't about the absence of doubt, but about the presence of hope. It was about trusting that even when she couldn't see the path ahead, she was exactly where she needed to be.